Understood. Well, Alex, I know we don't have you for long, and I want to be respectful for your time, but that's all I have on my end. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we sign off here?
Yes, actually, I thought I'd mention this because it's kind of come back to my attention. About 4 years ago, I published an article and a video about the company called Terranos. I don't know if people will remember this, but at some point it was like a big thing, and the CEO and founder was this young blonde chick called named Elizabeth Holmes, and she was celebrated as the youngest self-made billionaire, the next Steve Jobs of the Silicon Valley, blah 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 blah. At the time, it was very relevant. So this was in 2021 because it had to do with the pandemic. But the reason it came back to my attention is because one of the major backers of Terranos and Elizabeth Holmes's mentor was Oracle's Larry Ellison.
Mm.
And what I just learned, I didn't realize this before, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, is that Larry Ellison is a part of this cabal of billionaires in the United States who are loyal to Israel, who are arch-Zionist, and have this tight, friendly relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu. And so, first of all, it's a discovery that all these things are connected. It's always the same people in all these. The pandemic, Palestine, Israel. Larry Ellison was also in one recent panel. He was talking about how this whole big tech control matrix is going to keep people on their best behavior. You say something bad, we debank you, we cut your money, whatever, I don't know. But this dystopian system of control. So obviously he's involved in building that. Now he's buying up TikTok, and he's buying up CBS News for his son, and on and on and on and on. But the main reason why this story is important, that is the story of Theranos, is because it was a massively important venture. Its board of directors had Henry Kissinger, George Shultz, General Mad Dog Mattis, Sam Nunn, who was, the chair of the Armed Services Committee at the Senate. That the whole board of directors were people from the deep state, from the swamp, intelligence, military, security state people. Except that the whole thing was a fraud from start to finish, from day one, and they all knew it. The reason why I think this is so relevant is because there was a moment in time, well, not moment in time, Theranos went on for 12 years. They were made to look invincible. They were, it looked like the whole thing was unassailable, but it came crashing down because a small handful of insiders, the Theranos employees, and one outside consultant and one Wall Street Journal journalist, they wouldn't let the story go. They wouldn't shut up, even though they were heavily intimidated and threatened and pursued, to the point that one of them couldn't take it and committed suicide. But nevertheless, this small group of seemingly powerless people, by continuing to speak out, by continuing to tell the truth and refusing to be intimidated, brought the whole thing down. It came crashing down to nothing, from a valuation of $9 billion to zero. And so it's an important lesson to keep in mind, because now we're again at some kind of a dark moment they assassinated Charlie Kirk. They're trying to destroy or co-opt his movement. And it's important to remember that, however powerful these people may seem, Zionist billionaires, Netanyahu, they control the White House. Trump is afraid for his life, blah, blah, blah. We're doomed. We're not doomed. Thanks to the people like, Tucker Carlson and Max Blumenthal and another handful of people who are out there speaking the truth and refusing to shut up, brings these kinds of enterprises down. And so I will have to repost this on my Substack again, because I think it's a valuable lesson to keep in mind for, so that people understand that, we're not doomed, and we're actually in a pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's an interesting story with Theranos, because I had very vague memories of it, but you just rejiggered a lot of what I had forgotten, because it had gotten lost in the dustbin of history. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. It collapsed in 2015, so 10 years.
Yeah.
But it was, and at the time I was working in hedge funds, and I kind of paid attention to it because it was one of those companies that hedge fund managers talked about, and it was all over Bloomberg News, and it was all over the CBS News and CNBC and MSNBC, and so you couldn't not know about it. But two things grabbed my attention. First, the board of directors. I thought, there's no way that this is what they say that it is. How did you get Henry Kissinger and George Shultz on your board of directors? How did you do that? I don't understand. There's got to be an explanation. And then came the pandemic. And then I had the aha moment. This whole thing was being prepared as an information weapon against all of us, against humanity. This is why it was so important. And there was Larry Ellison as one of the biggest investors in Theranos, as a benevolent mentor to the young, clueless moron, Elizabeth Holmes. It all came crashing down. George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, Larry Ellison, Rupert Murdoch, all of these people were in on it. It crashed to the ground, to zero. And so, all it was personal integrity, courage, and will to speak the truth. Not by everybody, but just a small, I think it's total of 5 people that brought that houseless cards down.
Amazing.
Yeah, truly amazing.
Well, Alex, this has been phenomenal as always. I appreciate your time. Where can people find you if they want to see more of your work?
Well, one place where I publish is you have kindly put it under my name here. So that's my daily market newsletters for traders and investors, which communicates trading signals for a group of 18 or 19 global markets. Commentary is always completely free of charge. And then I have another Substack, personal Substack, where I publish a bit less frequently, which is called Alex Krainer Substack. And I'm also active on X. My handle is @NakedHedgie.
All right. We will have the links to all that down below. So check it out, guys. And if you got value out of this podcast, drop us a like and comment, "Go, Alex, go," in the comment section. If you agreed or disagreed, that's perfectly fine. But let me know why you agreed or why you disagreed. I do, in fact, read every single comment. I can't reply to all of them, but I do read them. And then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And by liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all the YouTube stuff, you help in pushing this video and this channel in the algorithm. So it may not seem like much, but a little bit goes a long way, and it's free. But if you'd like to support us monetarily as well, you can check me out on Substack too. It's capitalcosm.substack.com to get all of my interviews early, ad-free, and uncensored, especially for the ones that warrant it. And yeah, you get all of my stuff, and you get to ask my guests questions and recommend me guests down the line. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.
Take care.